Welcome back to Digital Fabrications. Today on the channel we're going to go through my process to trace model airplane plans. I was asked to do this by my buddy Robbie. What's up, Robbie? I know he's watching. And I do this quite often for either the CNC machine or the laser. But we're just going to cover the actual tracing of a plan in this video. So let's get into it. First of all, you need to have a plan that you want to trace. Okay, so in my case, I am messing around with this ultimate biplane designed by Darren Bowman. You can see this down in the right corner here. It's about, it's a 28% ultimate. I've heard that it flies well on a 55 cc or so. And looks like this plan is very well drawn. It's going to lend itself well to this process we're going to use today. We're going to just go through designing some of these formers here for the fuselage. We'll probably start with this D1. So I'm just viewing a PDF right now. That was downloaded off of the website, one of the multitude of websites that has airplane plans, Outer Zone or AeroFred. There's some really great resources out there. What's great about this plan is it does have a scale in the bottom right. So we know that this section here should be 4 inches, which is going to help us scale it very easily once we get it into the Fusion environment. Now, to get it in the Fusion environment, it's not as straightforward as it might seem. You can't just import a PDF into Fusion. You have to convert this into a JPEG or other image file. And the way you do that, the easiest way to do that, is to use a tool like PDF to image, pdf2image.com. And all you do is drop your PDF file right on that center bar. And it's going to upload to the website there. And when it's finished, it's just going to light up this download all. And you'll have your 2 JPEGs. That's what I usually go with. I don't need to download this because I've already converted my plan. But that's how you get it to a JPEG. Just remember where you save those files because you're going to need to input those into Fusion, which is what we're going to go through right now. Coming back over to Fusion here. It's a really good idea to upload your JPEG images, which are going to become canvases, into your data bar. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. We're going to just click upload. And I started a new project for this. I just named it Ultimate. Don't worry about that file you see in the top left. That's just because I already started this project, and I'm just going to go through it now to show you guys the process. But now I need to get my images into this folder in Fusion, so I will do that now. I've already named them, separated the fuselage and the wing, which the PDF to image converter will do for you because they're on separate pages. And I just renamed those files so I can keep track of them. So I'm just going to click on both, and I'm going to drag them over into Fusion. And we'll hit upload. Those are now uploading into my Fusion project. And there we have it. We're not going to try to open them or anything. What we're going to do is we have a blank Fusion file started here. And what we're going to do is come over here to the insert bar. We're going to hit insert and we're going to hit canvas. Okay, and then there's our 2 files that we just uploaded. And we're going to go ahead and hit fuse. We're going to go ahead and choose our plane that we wish to draft on. In this case, I typically would like to keep my files oriented for the CNC machine, but in this case, it's really not that important. So we'll just go ahead and click the click this plane here. As you can see, there is our canvas. I want to be very careful now to not click on anything here. I'm going to go ahead and go to my view cube. I'm going to get the front view. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. So the image has actually come in reverse for some reason. It's not a big deal though. We'll just go over here to the dialog box. We're going to hit vertical flip. No, I'm sorry. It was actually horizontal flip. There we go. Horizontal flip. And then we're also going to scale this up just a little bit. It's not even going to, it's going to be not even close to how big it's going to end up. This is quite a big airplane. But we're just going to scale it up just a little bit by clicking that corner and dragging up. Okay. That's going to keep it nice and centered. Now we're going to hit OK. The rest of these options here before we hit OK. Canvas opacity at 50% is usually pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and stay with that. We're going to hit OK. Okay, I can tell you with absolute certainty that this canvas is not scaled properly. We need to scale it so that this canvas and this scale over here is 4 inches. I guarantee you that it's not right now, but we're going to fix it. We're going to just come over here to our tree. Actually, I'm going to get rid of this data panel just to open up the screen a little bit more. We're going to come over here to canvases. There's our ultimate fuse. We're going to right click it and we're going to hit calibrate. Okay. We get this little indicator here and we're just going to come down to our scale. I'm just zooming in. Move that over so you can see a little better. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try to get as accurate as possible with my mouse. Get my indicator here. And then I'm going to click one time and it's going to put a little marker there. I'm just going to come straight over to the end of my scale. And once I'm happy with my mouse placement, I'm just going to click again. And that's going to bring up a dialog, which is actually in millimeters, but we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to type 4 space IN for inches, and we're going to hit enter. And that is going to scale this plan up to what it should be properly. Come over here, and while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to switch my units to inches. There we go. Okay, so now, just to prove to you that this is now scaled properly, I'm just going to start a sketch on the same plane. We're going to grab a line tool, and we're just going to come down here to the printed scale, and we're just going to click about in the same spots that we were in, and you can see that it is pretty much right there at 4 inches. It's never going to be exactly perfect, but we can get it pretty dang close. Okay, so we're happy with that. I'm just going to hit cancel here. I'm going to stay in the sketch because we're going to start making some formers here. And I think we'll look around here. Yeah, I think we're going to start with this D1 former. And I'm going to show you my method. Now, there may be other folks that have different methods out there, but this is the method that I use. It has proven to work pretty well for me, and so that's what I'm going to show you today. And what I'm going to do, because we can see that we have some stringers. These are all slots for stringers. That makes it quite easy to get a former nice and straight. But what we're going to do is I grab my line tool and I'm going to make a line across the bottom of this former because it is essentially just a straight line. We're going to go ahead and do a straight line across the bottom. Don't worry that it is not exactly lined up. These plans are for the most part hand drawn. And you will quickly discover that the formers are usually not 100% symmetric, and things aren't completely perfectly straight. Computers and programs like Fusion, they deal in ones and zeros, as in something's either perfectly straight or it's not. Whereas a pencil and a piece of paper, things can appear to be straight, and you know that's what they were implying and shooting for was a straight line, but it's not always going to be perfectly straight. Okay, so there's a line to start out with, and why I put that line there so that we could find the midpoint, which is right there. And then we're going to just do a vertical line here. And now you can already see what I was talking about on how things are not symmetrical. Okay, so in this case, because the part is kind of far out of symmetry there as far as the computer is concerned, I'm going to delete this bottom line, and I'm going to move this line over to where it is roughly in the middle of that the stringer position. Okay, that is going to be our center line. Now I'm going to fix this bottom point so that way this line cannot move. It is going to be constrained in space as soon as I do the same thing to the top. Now that line is locked, and I recommend you do that so that way this can't get messed up in the future. Once you're happy with the placement, that's going to be the placement. Like most parts that are intended to be symmetrical, that is, we're going to just draw 1/2 and then we'll mirror the part. So that way we have a 100% symmetrical part. Okay, so this part has a couple straight lines in it, so we're going to start off with the low-hanging fruit of the straight lines. We're going to get our bottom line in place here. And go ahead and hit OK to get out of that line. Same thing in the top. And we're just going to go until the part starts curving, which it really appears that it starts curving right at this stringer position. Hit OK. This appears to be a straight line as well, so we're going to go ahead and get a straight line in there. And I would say that the curvature starts at this stringer position as well. Okay, so now we're at the, you could say it's the most difficult part, but it's actually quite easy with the method I'm about to show you. What we need here is what's called a spline, which is a squiggly line in CAD terms. A lot of folks go immediately for the fit point spline, but I actually like the control point spline. And you can find these, I have them, since I use them a lot, I have them in the toolbar permanently. But you can actually come down here in the create menu and hit spline, and we're going to do control point spline. Okay? Then we're going to make a few clicks, and we're just going to rough this in here. We don't need to be very accurate. Okay? So we know that the line connects to this top line here and there. So we're just going to go ahead and click. We're going to come out here. Don't make a straight line. See how Fusion wants to snap you to a straight line? Don't let it do that. You can hold control, and then that'll temporarily turn off the snapping, as I'm doing here. Or you can just make sure that you're not on that straight line by dragging down a little bit before clicking. Now click a few times, and then come down and connect to this vertical line here. Then hit OK. As you can see, we now have a closed loop for half of the former, but this line here is not matching our plans very well. We're going to go ahead and zoom in here so you can get a better look. And then what we're going to do is we're going to drag these lines until our form matches. And as you can see, the way that this ended up, actually, these lines actually really do need to be in line with these lines that we drew earlier. So we're going to use our collinear constraint. And what that means is this line is going to be in line with that one. And same thing here. And that is going to make our lines match up really, really well. Let's do a little bit more tweaking here until we get it exactly where we want it. And I would say that's looking pretty good for the outline. Okay, let's take a step back real quick here. Yep, 1/4 by 3/8 stringers. So now we know what size these notches all need to be. So we're going to draw those in now. Take our line tool. We're going to make sure that we are on this upper line. We're going to make a click and we're just going to rough this in. Okay, now we're going to apply some dimensions. Use our dimension tool. Okay, last I checked, 3/8 of an inch is 0.375. Although, maybe I will get the old calculator out and make sure. So that would be 0.125 times 3. 375, there you go. All right. Now you can also just tell Fusion that you want to go 3/8 of an inch. Like that. And you'll get the same result. Here I've specified 0.125, which is 1/8 of an inch. The other thing you can do, since we specified that this is a center line, we can click our dimension on this point here and then on the center line, and it'll give us the full dimension, which we do want at 0.250, which is 1/4 inch. Don't worry too much that this line here on the plan is not in line with the line we've drawn, because these plans are printed and passed down and scanned and all that stuff, and every time you print something or scan something, you lose a little bit of resolution, or maybe the lens of the scanner or the print head is off by a little bit here or there. And that's just, unfortunately, that's how it is. That's even how it was back when we had these plans printed originally in the old kits in the 90s when I started building model airplanes. So we just don't worry about it too much. We know that we have now an accurate dimension on that stringer cutout. Okay, we're going to continue on to our next one. And we're just going to rough sketch that in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some constraints so we don't have to keep dialing in dimensions and all night here. What we're going to do is we're just going to set that line equaling this line. Not sure why it did not accept that. There you go. Click the line that we're copying first before clicking the target line. Hit OK. And then here, I can't just equals this because it's not a full line. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a dimension, and then we're going to just click over here to copy that dimension, which is dimension 3. Okay, now to get this to fully constrain, what we're going to have to do is put a dimension on this leg here to our center of our part. Or the other way you can do that is you can hit delete that, and we can actually just fix it. And that will lock the all this geometry in to where it can't move. Now, we have to apply a little bit of logic or whatnot to these plans because, yeah, as you can see, we have a very hard 1/4 inch on this line here, and it doesn't quite match up. And we don't have a center line to reference either, so we just have to kind of line it up the best we can. And you know, this airplane is going to be made out of wood. I mean, unfortunately, you do have to make some adjustments sometimes when you're actually building the airplane. If what I was checking when I put that dimension there was if it was really close to you know, 1 and 1/4 or so, then I was going to probably just dial it in. And you could do that, actually. Just dial it in at 1 and 1/4. Is that very well might be what the designer was intending. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and fix it. So that way it's dialed in space. And we'll continue on. As you can see, our lines are just locking to our other lines there. And we'll now we can use our equals. Oh, gotta click the other one first. Now we can use our equals to make these lines all match up. We're going to need to fix this point as well. That way, this line here is constrained. We're going to apply the same thing to this bottom corner over here. And since we're happy with our curved part, we're going to go ahead and fix that as well. Fixing is a way of locking something in space in the software so it can't be moved around. It's kind of like a lock, but that way we can just unfix it and we can move something if we need to later. I'm just going to quickly draw these parts in, and we're going to use our equals again. Okay, that should be all the sketching that we require on this particular former. So we're going to go ahead and hit Finish Sketch. I'm just going to move this so we can see a little better here. And we're now going to extrude. I am going to extrude in that direction so that way my sketch stays right on top. As you can see, since we do have closed loops here, it's already decided that it doesn't need to extrude where our stringers are going to go, which is perfect. This part is going to be made out of 1/8 balsa, I believe, so we'll just go ahead and say it's going to be 0.125. And there you have it. There is our first part of this airplane. Well, half of it anyway. The way we can complete that is we're going to go down to Create on the Solid tab, and we're going to hit Mirror. Click the body, and then we're going to hit Mirror Plane, and we're going to come down here to this center section here. Click that. Make sure that our operation is join. We're going to hit OK. There you have it. That's the first part of the Darren Bowman Ultimate 28%. Very cool airplane. Very much looking forward to building this one. I will be using the laser and the CNC at various points in this project, and we'll definitely cover that in a future video. We're also going to need to do something about this canopy and the cowl. I don't believe anybody produces either of those anymore, so we're going to need to come up with a solution for those. We'll draft them up at some point, and then we will probably have to pull a vacuum formed canopy, and the cowl will probably make out of fiberglass or carbon fiber. So we'll get into that in future videos. We'll also cover doing some wing ribs and other various parts, but the process is very similar. With the wing rib, we would just draw a center line, and we just draw half the wing rib and mirror the other half across, as we've done here. Okay, so that's gonna be it for now. Get out and draw something. If you have any questions, guys, definitely drop a comment. And of course, you know, I hate to be a YouTube shill, but you know, a like and a subscribe and ring the little bell would be very helpful. I'm trying to get this channel going, and anything like that definitely helps. All right, guys, have a good one, and we'll see you on the next video.